But my family was pretty low budget growing up, even on special occasions. You know, they try to make things exciting, but we had some necessary budget cuts there too. Like around birthdays, you know, when you're young, on your friend's birthday, you want to go to the mall and get him something cool. Well, we weren't allowed to go to the mall because we had a gift shop right in our house. Well, the gift shop was a little plastic box that was kept under my sister's bed. It was actually a washed-out fish container from the family roast beef and seafood stand. It would have stuff in it like salt and pepper shakers in the shape of little dogs, a necklace with a butterfly on it. I remember for a long time there was a crystal statue in there of two fish kissing. My mom was like, why don't you give Jimmy that nice statue of the two fish? I'm like, I don't know, because they'll think I'm a girl. Well, why don't you give him that cool chain? I'm like, Mom, it's a necklace with a butterfly on it. No, it looks more like a moth to me. Guys can wear moths. That's tough. It's like wearing a spider or a shark's tooth. And for our own birthdays, my parents wanted to go all out, throw us a big party. But to save a little money, we'd have one big party in the summer to celebrate 4 birthdays. So we'd have a big family barbecue where a lot of the boxes of hamburger and giant tubs of mayonnaise would show up, you know. We'd have piñatas outside. We had homemade piñatas. My mom would tie a string between 2 trees and put a bunch of balloons on it. And then each kid would get his chance with a blindfold on, a wiffle ball bat with a pin taped to the end of it. And they'd go under, pop one of the balloons. Well, some of the balloons just had candy in it, you know, typical piñata. Some of the balloons would just have little pieces of paper with numbers on them that corresponded to prizes from the gift shop. So my friend would be like, oh, I got a number 2. I won little dogs and the salt and pepper shakers. Great. And then there was always a couple balloons that were just filled with water. So that the kid would get the prize fresh with water. This was really more entertainment for the adults that happened to be. But we didn't realize how low budget we were because everything we did was like that. Even the big holidays had a kind of thrifty attitude. Like every Halloween, we had homemade costumes. I remember I was 8, and I was like, Mom, I want to be Rocky. She goes, all right, go get your father's blue robe, take the shoe polish, give you a little black eye, and we don't have any boxing gloves. We'll put medical tape on your hands with a little tangy ketchup on them. It'll be Rocky from that scene where he's pounding the frozen meat. And I was no stranger to trying to break down frozen meat from my days with a hamburger, so that was cool. When I was 10, I was like, Mom, I want to be a Smurf. She goes, well, you're already short, so that's good. A blue eyeshadow on your face and a white pillowcase. There you go, you're Smurf. Who's next? Same theme of homemade costumes carried over from Halloween to Christmas for my family. For our family, Halloween and Christmas weren't all that different. Well, every year we get dressed up for the Catholic Mass, the midnight Mass. Me and my brother and 2 sisters were shepherds in the nativity scene. Now, a lot of kids have pretty fancy shepherd outfits. Brown cloaks, staffs, beards, tivas or something. Our shepherd outfits were basically an odd assortment of robes. I'd have on my dad's blue robe. My sisters would have on like a pink shiny robe and a yellow robe with daisies on it. I remember my little sister Julie one year was like, how come Pat gets to dress up like Rocky for Christmas? We didn't have those nice rope belts. My sisters had those stretchy belts with the magnets in the front. Me and my brother would wear those cheap belts that came with pants. You seen those at Carver? It's a 2 for 1. It's a good deal. Check it out. And I remember one year my brother had my grandfather's cane and I had like a broken off hockey stick. But mostly we looked fresh out of the spa with our robes on and towels on our heads. It's like we just kind of wandered onto the altar looking around for baby Jesus. Is Jesus around here? Listen, I'm sorry we're late. We just got out of the shower. Is he here? Yeah, we brought him a little something. It's a statue of 2 fish kissing. Now, last year for Christmas, I was home in Boston, and my mom picked this play out of the paper, a Nazi show, she called it. We should all go see. So we go in. It's supposed to be about Christmas, more or less. And one of the big scenes, there's an actor on stage portraying Jesus, and he's up on a cross. Pretty standard church-type stuff, you know? Except this particular Jesus was naked with a huge erect penis. It's a true story. boarding school. He still teaches at the Catholic high school he went to. He took one look at that Jesus and leaned over to us. That's a prosthetic. That's definitely a prosthetic. Well, we tried to assure my dad that it appeared to be the real deal, and that it's not surprising that the Son of God would be well hung. No, that's a prosthetic. Look, you can even see where they attached it. My little sister Julie leans over. Dad, that's a cock ring. Oh, what? A cock ring. Now, my little sister Julie has the unfortunate task of having to whisper to my dad exactly what a cock ring is. And that's what keeps it erect so long? Yeah, Dad, keep it down. Yeah, back in the old days at church, whispering and asking questions, except now we're monitoring the behavior of my dad. Growing up in Boston, my parents used to take us to a lot of artsy shows and plays. You know, they want to make sure we're open to different types of people. I grew up around Boston during a time when people call each other queer all the time, for really any reason at all. What are you, queer? Took a shower? Queer. New pair of shoes? Queer. So my dad would have none of that kind of talk in our house. We use the word gay, and then one day he comes home and says, I don't want to hear the word gay anymore. They are homosexuals. But since we didn't know any openly gay folks growing up, it was like my dad was going to these secret East Coast meetings and coming back with updates. They now prefer to be called homosexuals. Or as my dad's Boston accent made it, homersexuals. He had brought back the R that had been so violently ripped from all the queers and put it back in homersexuals to make up. I remember around that time my dad went to this party for his school. It was a fundraiser. He comes home telling us that this one guy went up to him, went to shake his hand, and instead reached out, tapped him on the penis. Well, like that, what did you do? What did you say? He's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. I'm not homophobic. I picture my dad at this party where the guy latched onto his balls. He's like, it's okay, it's all right, I'm not homophobic. Now, I moved out to San Francisco. My brother lives here. My sister lives in L.A. My other sister lives in Miami. So we began to have quite a few legitimate gay friends, you know. And we started to know people that use words like queer or call themselves fags or dykes. We'd bring people home to Boston, and my dad would say, look, I don't care if you are a fag. In this house, you're a homosexual. Recently, my dad was out for a visit, and me and him were taking my brother's car around. Now, my brother has a pretty fancy car. It has the OnStar. It talks to you, you know. And my dad always wants to drive. He won't let anyone else drive, but he's real overwhelmed by all the new gadgets. So my brother's car actually has some kind of function where it sort of records driving errors. So we're out driving for a little bit. You know, he asked my dad to turn up the heat or change the radio. He's like, I have enough problems just driving. All of a sudden he stops. He's staring at the dashboard. He goes, I don't know what happened. I've been driving for 5 minutes. I already got 14 malfunctions. So I drive with him off to Baker Beach. You know, it's that nice beach over by Golden Gate Park. It's one of those beaches that's like family, nude beach on the end. So my dad's there with his coat on. There's a couple guys naked playing frisbee, you know. And there's one guy who's laying on his stomach naked with some beads coming out of his ass. My dad looks over. Are those beads coming out of that guy's butt? I'm like, yeah, Dad, they're anal beads. What does my son know about jewelry that you put in your butt? So I'm like, Dad, I just figured they were anal beads. I mean, wouldn't it be a little more random